despite the amount of forces he lost to storms and such, now going to move towards the upper left, who's very vulnerable and actually will get taken down. And at that point, I believe Guemchi is going to be in a lot of trouble to get back in this game. He really has to take out these forces here, take out this position, take down this base, get this base for himself, because he's in a lot of trouble at this point. Tanks do get cleared out. There are some vultures and science cells there too, but they're going to get cleared out. First Arbiter now just out, a little bit late, I gotta say. Should have had those Arbiters up ready before this, and oh man, now this upper left in so much trouble. Guemchi doesn't have the troops to reinforce it, and I think as soon as that goes down, despite the fact that Leta has lost this 6 o'clock, he still should be able, with the amount of troops and the amount of the way he's been using them, really should be able to win this game. Because if Guemchi manages to use this Arbiter alongside his ground troops in a very good manner, he will be able to go back in this game. But really, he needs another expansion. He's just lost 2, taking out 1, and that is not very good, I gotta say. Leta on the opposite side is of course gonna take down this upper left and gonna take it for himself. Guemchi should be able to take out the expansions at the south though, and Guemchi not even gonna use his probes to engage at the final, maybe even try to escape. It's probably not gonna work. A lot of forces moving on along with arbiters in the middle. Guemchi really in just horrible economic position at this point. Both players mining on 3, I believe. But somehow Leta just has kept up the troop count, really kept this macro going, really just kept up all the forces planning on mines, holding Guemchi inside of his base for very long. Guemchi losing those 2 expansions doesn't help him out. Gotta have to take the lower right, and I think that's exactly what he's doing now. Moving out with a lot of forces, using the arbiters to his advantage, losing an observer there actually due to science vessels that are running around being irritating. With those science vessels out, then the EMPs that are going to be coming in, Guemchi is going to be in a lot of trouble, so he's going to have to get off stasis fields and such, do a lot of damage. I don't even think he has the forces to go for recall, because I think if he goes for recall, Leta will simply be able to stomp down into his main and really take it out. Guemchi now has forces at the north that is moving out. Leta's focusing on the south so far, just moving in, just making sure that Guemchi cannot take down any expansions. Guemchi is attempting to do the same, but really just being pushed back because Leta's pushing in so close. Now gonna go into this lower right, lower right, which is not blocked off by pylons. Okay, just now a pylon coming in to block it off. 1 cannon there in position, but tanks are going to siege, and there's just a delay, not going to have in time. Guemchi just simply does not have the troop count at this point, and I think Leta already has this game taken. He's taken the upper left expansions. Guemchi is going to be able to take out preemptive storm, trying to catch some SCVs as they run by, but not really doing it. So Leta also has been prevented, but Leta just still has a larger amount of forces, and has those science vessels which are going to be able to EMP all the forces that Guemchi has, and that's just going to be able to do horrible damage to him. Guemchi would have to do something very serious to get back in this game. This lower left is going to get shelled, going to get taken down. Guemchi has to be really crying for minerals at this point. His main's completely mined out. His natural and upper right is, well, there still have some minerals, while on the opposite side, Leta actually doesn't have a lot. So I think Leta might actually be himself in a very horrible economic position, although in his advantage he has a larger troop count. He has been using his troops better, but he doesn't have any mining inside of his main, no mining at his natural, and I don't even see any mining at his lower left, which means he's been keeping an insane amount of SCV saturation the entire time, which is why he's been able to push out so many forces. The EMP actually does go off in quite a few of those forces, while Guemchi does manage to get a pretty decent stasis in one of the sciences, and a few of the forces there does get off a storm, but really can't push in there. He doesn't have any zealots to help him out. Guemchi just doesn't have the troop count, despite the fact that both players should be economically even at this point. Guemchi did have an advantage for quite a long time, so he's going to be able to continue producing for a longer time, but just not really sure. He has to catch Leta's forces. He has to kill this number of forces there while taking out. Again, going to take the upper left. Just going to try to keep Leta's forces here at the south, where Leta's not going to be able to move out. Leta apparently even thinking of taking the middle here, and I think that would really help him out. If he can take the middle and hold it, he's going to have those dual gas and dual mineral lines. They don't last very much, but still do a lot of damage. EMP going off on those Dragoons, and Arbiter again. Arbiter's going to be forced back, so it doesn't go. Scan going off. All the Dragoons instantly melt to tank fire. Once this goes off, it doesn't really catch much at all. Some tanks can be pushed back here, but Leta holding the position, getting the ridge, and that's not going to allow Guemchi to move towards that location at all. We're going to see where they actually manage to take a base and hold it, because Leta again has retaken the 6 o'clock and just going to be able to expand this house. Now it's going to shell the pylon. Oh, that is 4 gateways that are unpowered. Oh man, these gateways, this is going to hurt. Guemchi now losing a bunch of his production alongside, and just this is horrible. Leta has reestablished this clock. Guemchi has not established a 4th base yet, just reproducing. See, just you saw one random Dragoon. It just shows how small a number of forces he has. Some probes are finally moving toward the upper left, so he's going to be able to get some mining, but he can't put down probes to defend those gateways. Those gateways are going to start being shelled and just in a lot of trouble. Some forces trying to move out. Leta at full upgrades at this point. Just the amount of forces don't take that much damage and completely melt everything tosses have. Tosses are at weapons 3 and nothing else. No armor upgrades or shield upgrades whatsoever. And I think a lot of protoss I've been doing just working off one forge, and I honestly believe that's a mistake. Okay, that's extra minerals and it takes a while, but getting that one forge can really do so much for your ground force, especially when you're up against a Terran who's 3-3, full armor, full weapons upgrades, just so much. One Dark Temple gonna go around, possibly try to drag some mines, gonna get hit by one of those mines, but still stay alive. At this point, I honestly don't see how Guemchi can get back into this. He's just so hard pressed. Leta moving in everywhere, showing his mass macro. Guemchi has taken the upper left. He's probably going to take the 12 o'clock, at least attempt to, but I'm not really seeing how it can happen. Leta moving in with a bunch of forces, taking out a lot of Dragoons, has some vultures pressing out, pushing down a lot of mines. Also, tanks can be moving towards the right position. There's one Arbiter alongside some Dragoons. They do take out a dropship that's coming in. Okay, maybe we won't take out the Engineer, but Engineer is still going to stay around to get the spot. Leta just has such a large amount of forces, and Guemchi is such a small that Leta can really split himself up and defend at more than one single location. He actually did not take the middle, just had a bunch of forces at the location. Mine's going to go off. One storm doesn't hit anything, and second storm is going to hit the tank, so the tank is actually going to go down to that one Dragoon. And Leta now moving in towards the upper left, and there's nothing that's going to be. The Silent Vessel is going to move in, it's going to get off an EMP before anything else, and that's going to be horrible. Guemchi now going to lose this base, and doesn't have nearly enough to defend, and that's going to be, I think with this base going, I think that's going to be GG from Guemchi. He has no mining left whatsoever, he's no true production, he's lost some of his gateways, he doesn't have anything, while Leta's still not going strong himself. His economy is still pretty horrible, but he still has mining, still doing something, while this little contingent of forces here is all that Guemchi has. Guemchi at this point probably even has to save up minerals to make sure that he has enough to create another nexus, and just no chance whatsoever really for him to go back, because Leta still can produce, still has a base, still should be able to take out even more bases, take the entire southern area, take the lower right. See, he has a lot of tanks alongside Science Vessels to defend that southern location at 6 o'clock, and that's exactly this huge amount of troop that it lets him do. Yeah, there was still surprised there was no there was a Reaver, but there was no harassment from Guemchi. Leta tried to go for harassment, tried to go for aggressive play, but Guemchi just stayed in his base, turtle up, and that really didn't help him on this map. So the Terrans, Leta is going to be able to take this game. The Arbiter is going to lose its life, and just Guemchi overall, I think, can really GG at this point. Doesn't have anything that has 3 bases, none of them mining. Can't even produce troops because he has to save up to build another nexus, and he can't build another nexus because Leta now controls the entire map. Okay, he might not have bases everywhere, but now he knows exactly, has enough forces to move around everywhere to spot anything it is that Guemchi does and react instantly. Guemchi at this point really just staring at what he's going to do. Actually going to go for recall, so this is his last move here. Going to go for recall here at the south, but there are tanks in position. Leta was more than ready for this. Had his like GG coming in. Leta completely ready for the last move, so just, one last hooray for Guemchi there. Played a good game, especially early on, but just as soon as he started sacrificing troops when he really shouldn't have, that was settled. Leta now with plenty of wins and probably doing a wonderful job so far. So yeah, second set coming in soon from me, guys. GG. Thanks for watching. Ranching out.